Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Sunday's flagship podcast. It is, of course, Talking Town, and we need to hear from you this afternoon. Town 8 points clear of third, 4-2 winners yesterday, a 7-point week. It's been fantastic as we head into the international break, and I want to hear from you all this afternoon. Get active in our live comments. There'll be a link to join us as well. And if you're watching on catch up, hello, hope you had a great weekend. Leave your comments. Well, I'll try and reply to as many as I can. We'll kick things off and we'll finish with some 3-word reviews. We've got Emerson Fairweather. It's quite simple. Super Kieran McKenna. Peter Dowling, clean sheet, please. And Karen B, McKenna's future champions. Lots and lots of 3-word reviews. Love to see as many as we can. I'll try and run through more through the show and at the end of the show. But what a time to be a Town fan. What an absolute beautiful time to be a Town fan. Tractor Boy, absolute legends. And they are certainly writing a story that could make them all legends come at the end of the season. Already comparisons to the George Burley team. Is that too early to ask that question? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. As always, hit the like button, hit subscribe. Let's get into proceedings. The Cruncher, Richard Moss.
You're talking utter fucking...
Afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm good, you?
I am. I've got a bit of a cough, so I might go mute a few times. We'll have to carry this show, but some say you already do that anyway.
Oh,
but,
no, it wasn't the chicken. You didn't have a bone stuck in your throat, did you? From that? Was it chicken you had yesterday? Oh, it was pork, was it?
Yeah, it was the size of a house. It was huge. Huge.
Was it? I was saying, when was the rest of it coming?
No. They obviously listened to the podcast midweek, and they
obviously
made a note.
Obviously they do.
Obviously they do.
They
made a note of it, and I just want to say on a personal note, a huge thank you to the Frasers for their very kind offer and of the hospitality tickets. They were brilliant, and I really want to do it again. I've got to be honest. It's an experience, that's for sure. But
get back in the cheap seats next game. Up in your beloved.
They ain't cheap in the Cobbold.
They ain't cheap in the Cobbold. They were doing the Poznan up in the Cobbold there.
I know. Blue Action, by the way, when you were sat in the South Stand, looked absolutely phenomenal. When they got the banners and the chants and everything going on. The whole stadium yesterday actually was just a phenomenal place to be. And your 3-word review, I won't say the middle word because it's a swear word and it's only 1:30 in the afternoon.
Brandon effing Williams.
Correct. Shall we start with the man of the match? Because he was... Wow.
Well, before the goal, I think he'd had about 2 or 3 forays down that right-hand side. And I didn't know, Martin, that he was so quick. You know, he was electric. And all they could do, I think, the 2 times they fouled him. I think one time it had gone out for a throw-in, and then the play, he continued and he got fouled and the guy got a yellow card. And then there was another one down by the corner flag. He got flattened. And then the goal. I mean, it takes me back to Tarico's goal against Crystal Palace when we were in the Championship back in the 90s.
Div 1.
Well,
Get
yeah,
it right.
Yeah.
Come
okay,
on.
Division 1. But so he picks the ball up, doesn't he, about midway in our half. Can we talk about the forearm smash on Wes Burns?
That for me,
Robbie Brady.
Referee says it's a coming together. Personally, don't see it. Yeah,
he smashed him.
Brady's seeing Burns ahead of him. I don't think it's a coming together, but there we go.
So he picks the ball up, and it's just he's like an Olympic sprinter, Martin, running up the pitch there. Beautiful. And then to get that far, and then to have the composure, because we've all seen players, you know, go on a run, and then the finish is a bit disappointing. So to go on that run and then have the composure and to finish it off the post, I mean, phenomenal. Great goal. And that's why I've got in my head of that Premier League fullbacks, because both of them are, and arguably, I think Brandon obviously got man of the match yesterday, but Leif Davis could have got it as well. And we are very blessed to have 2 such good footballers. We've tapped into Kieran's link at Man United, and you look at that United team yesterday. They had Lindelof playing right back, and you think this guy,
Well,
he could be playing in that team. He was electric yesterday. The tackle at the end. He's look. It's a great tackle, and he's got the crowd fired up. It's a little bit reckless, if I'm honest. I loved it, but
I agree.
You're a split second away there from potentially breaking someone's leg or potentially getting a red card. Now, I loved it. I loved his reaction afterwards, but it's going to be interesting when the guys up the road come down at Christmas time, because he's going to be really fired up for that game. But look, we're lucky to have such a good player there going forward and defensively. And I think Harry Clark at the minute, he's just going to have to bide his time on the subs bench, Martin, because I don't see him getting in anytime soon. You don't know what happens with injuries, suspensions going forward. And it's like anybody in this team, at the minute we're loving everybody, but come January, we might look to upgrade in a couple of positions. And we've just got to, if you can get a better player, we love all this team. We love it for what they've done last season, for what they're doing at the minute. But if we can get a better player in a certain position, it makes the team better. And you've seen with Brandon Williams now that he's come in, he's found his feet, he's got fit.
Yeah.
And he was excellent yesterday. And long may it continue.
Absolutely. And Richard Chandler, Brandon Roadrunner Williams was one of his 3-word reviews. And it was a sight to see. It was a good sight to see. And he really, that right-hand side in general just really hurt Preston, I felt particularly. But the tackle at the end is what you really love in it as a fan, because it gets everyone going. And I did think at the time, he's going to absolutely adore playing Norwich, having played for him. He's going to just revel in every single minute.
He'll get some stick from them, from their fans, but I don't think. Oh, have you gone on mute? Oh, you're back.
He'll use that, won't he?
Yeah, use that as a positive, massively.
He's an emotional player, I feel, with Brandon. A real emotional.
He's on the edge, isn't he? He plays on the edge, which I like, because I think that probably brings the best out of him. Look, he might overstep the line now and again, Martin. Look, but I'd rather have someone like that playing on the edge than someone who's a little bit sort of timid, But I said to the guy behind, and we were chatting, this team, it's really attacking, but I think football in general nowadays, you have to have 2 good fullbacks, Martin, in any good team, because they probably have the majority of the ball, don't they? They have a lot of the ball, and you have to look how high they're playing. And Leif Davis yesterday, there was a couple of times he's given the ball away. Before you know it, the player who's won the ball, he's dallying on the ball. Leif's come back and he's won that ball again, more than one time. So, look, we're blessed to have such good players, and they're well coached. And we just have to enjoy it. We just have to enjoy every single game that we go to at a minute, because that's what it's all about. And it's quite ironic when I look in the director's box and I see Luke Chambers, who was a good servant. Good servant for the club. And you look, and I think you put the team up on Wednesday. Was it the last time we played Preston? Yeah. And you think you had Luke Chambers at fullback and you had Miles Kenlock. And now you've got 2 players, one potentially could play in the Premier League in Leif Davis, who I think he probably will next season, whether we go up regardless or not. And you've got another one who's played 50 games in the Premier League. And that shows where we are at the minute as a football club. We've got better players than we've had for a very, very long time.
For a very long time. And that's got to, you say we're blessed. A huge amount of credit's got to go to McKenna and the scouting department, and obviously Mark Ashton, because they've brought these players to the club. They've identified the characteristics, the abilities, and we're reaping the rewards. And yesterday, we entertained 3rd place Preston. Tuesday was, at the time, I think it was 4th or 5th place Hull. And we've got 7 points in a week. And we've not, yesterday was the hardest of the 2 at the Hull and Preston. But you walked away with 6 points out of 6 and rose to the big occasion. And not often Town in history have done that.
No, we could do it one time. And then, to take 7 points, I think throughout the season, I'm not sure how many blocks of 3 games there are in a week, Martin. If you keep continuing to take 7 points, we've done a 9 point last time, that's going to have you at the top end of the table. Because it can really move you along, or it can consolidate your place up there. And you look this morning, you look at that league table, and we're 8 points clear of 3rd after 11 games. I mean, this is absolutely amazing. I think the Fisherman messaged me last night. Shout out to Mike. He weren't feeling too well. He didn't make the game yesterday, but he said we would probably have all been happy if we'd have had 18 points from 11 games. That would have been a decent return. We've got 28 points out of 33.
It's pinched me.
Incredible. And it's only because Leicester are doing so well that they're top of the league. But you have to look at Leicester and take that. They're Premier League players. These players we've got here were playing in League One last season.
Yep.
And we all said we were probably building a team that could play in the Championship. And I think a lot of us thought that we could compete in the Championship because we've got some good players. But I don't think we thought that we were going to do this well, not this early.
I don't think anybody, even the most optimistic Town fan who had us in the top 6 or top 2 as a season prediction, would never have dreamed of this start. It really is a pinch me moment. Every time you win a game of football and you go points clear, like 8 points clear in the second international break. If you said that in July, in June, in August, people would have thought you were not being realistic. But I can't put into words how unbelievable it is. It's crazy.
And you I think you touched on Wednesday. I think you said, Matt might have said, do we need the international break now? I think it might have been Matt. I think we do, because we showed second half, and we'll get on to that in a bit, that we did look a bit tired. We did look a bit leggy, and we did. And he did say Friday, Kieran said it. You'll need the crowd. You'll need your subs, because I think we've had 7 games in 21 days, and it's took a lot out of them. And you look at that second half. I don't think we were terrible by any stretch of the imagination, but I thought we looked a bit leggy. No, we give another goal, poor sort of goal. We give 2 poor goals away yesterday. And we needed the subs to give us that injection. And if you look at the 4th goal, they're all 5 are involved in that goal. All 5 of the subs. Freddie wins it. Marcus Harness plays it to Jack Taylor, and he composure just slots it through to Amari, and then Amari even. And in that situation, he's a young player. He could have gone for a shot.
I thought he was going to. I thought normally he would have had that took that on and had a shot. So I was really surprised he squared it, if I'm honest.
But composure when it squared it and laid it on a plate for Caden. It always makes me smile when Caden gets involved and gets a goal, because so many people had wrote him off, and he's still here, and he's still putting in a shift, and he's still playing a very important part, Martin. I think he will throughout the season. He won't play that many games. He won't start too many games, but when he comes off the bench, he can have an impact. And they all did yesterday. They all helped towards that result, because we were a little bit nervous. You're sitting there at 3-2. I never thought, second half, Preston had more of the ball. I never thought they were going to score. But when you're only that 1 goal in the lead, it's on a knife edge, and it only takes a set piece or a ricochet, So, yeah, we got that goal, and then we sat a bit more comfortably, and we just saw the game out, didn't we?
We did. Kev says goals were over the gap. That's a sign of a team full of confidence. Last time I saw a goal like that, Williams was a Kane Vincent Young versus Tranmere. Bit different, I think, from memory. That was Holy played it out to Vincent Young, didn't he? And then he didn't have as far to go or as many space to eat up. Sean says, if you were an opposite manager, how would you set your team up? Town has such versatility and firepower. It must be daunting to play Town at the moment. I think that really helps so far, that in the Championship, everybody almost arrives with an air of arrogance about what they can do, how we play. You stop us, and I think compared to League One, certainly that really helps, because like Preston yesterday, they've got no reason to fear Town away. They're 3rd place. They've been on a good run themselves. They didn't come to close up shop. They came to play their style, and we are just so good at ours. I think that's foolish.
Yeah, it is a case. I think I said it on here before. In this league, you've got no teams really coming and time wasting and sitting everyone. But no, not. It might change, because obviously people will get wise. But it is a case of sometimes teams will come, will play you at a game of football. I've said it before. 99 times out of 100, Martin, if the team comes and tries to plays and takes us on, I think we've just got better players. We're very well coached. You look at that first half. We went in at 3-1. Potentially, we could have been 5 or 6 up, and they were like, I see Colin said it on the full-time show, and I spoke to him last night. They were like a punch-drunk boxer in them last 5 minutes of injury time. They were literally on the ropes. They were clinging on. Town could have got another goal and the knockout blow, but they've just clung on to half-time and got in. And obviously Ryan Lowe's made some changes. He's made 3 subs. They've come on. They've had an effect. They've obviously helped that they scored an early goal. And look, Preston, will they be there at the end of the season? No one knows that, because there's only 11 games gone. But they've had a really good start, and you have to take what they've done so far But they've had a tough week. They obviously lost 4-0 at home to West Brom. Then they went to Leicester, shipped 3 and then 4 yesterday. But don't bemoan and say that Preston, I nearly called them Peterborough there. We're not back in League One. Preston, don't 2-0 win yesterday.
See, he knows. He follows it. He's got a little wall tracker up at Peterborough United.
Well, look, shout out to the Ferguson family, because obviously Sir Alex lost his wife in the week, and obviously Darren's mum. So good to see that they both got a victory yesterday, United and Peterborough. But getting back to Town, don't anyone think that Preston are a poor side, because they're where they are in the league at the minute on merit, Martin. You know, and Ryan Lowe's a very good manager. He's done a really good job there. And look.
But you backed up a 9-point week with a 7-point week. That's crazy. That's almost Football Manager-esque, where you've quit, reloaded every time just to get the result you want. It doesn't happen normally for Ipswich Town, particularly. I have no words, Rich. I'm running out of.
But we're that good. We are that good at the minute, especially at home. We just go all guns blazing in that first half. The pace that we play at. Teams can't handle us. They cannot handle it.
No, they can't. And you say you've got good players, and we have got good players. But if you look over their career, they've all had sort of, I think I saw this on a Preston forum, they've all had sort of mixed championship careers. McKenna is just getting every single ounce out of these players, but every single attribute they excel at, that's how we play. He's not asking a player to do something he can't do, which sounds mad. We've had managers in the past where you've had square pegs in round holes.
Everyone knows their job, and it's nice now when you see there's Hull fans, Preston fans on the socials last night, like saying what a good side we are. And I think we've probably shocked ourselves a little bit. I think that we are where we are, and we've won 9 games in 11 at the start of the season. It's just absolute madness.
It's mad. It is mad. And you mentioned Brandon Williams, and I put his stats on the screen there for you from SofaScore. But obviously Leif Davis, you mentioned he just appeared to be an extra yard ahead of everybody yesterday. And you can always tell a player who's destined for bigger things. And I don't mean that in the sense of which Town aren't going to go there with him. We hope so. This is a player that is a cut above. He's reading the game. He's quicker. He's stronger. Just phenomenal performance again from Leif. And everything he touches turns to gold. I called him Iron Man. I should call him Midas.
He's had 4 assists in a week.
Crazy for a left
back.
Needs
a goal now. Obviously, I don't think he scored yet, has he, this season, Leif?
No, he has.
No, but I think we've had 12.
Got played in towards the end, just stumbled a little bit.
We've had 12. I think we've had 12 different scorers in the team so far this season, and you think it's quite surprising that Leif Davis isn't one of them yet. But I'm sure he'll get his goals, Martin, because he's always up that end of the pitch. But yeah, look, phenomenal player. We just have to enjoy him while he's here, because he's destined for bigger things. Hopefully with Town in the Premier League, and even if we did go up, he might still move on. It just depends. And I think we signed him. It's 1.5 million was a lot of money there for a League One team, but you think now it's an absolute steal.
Oh gosh, yeah, it looks like robbery, doesn't it? It looks like absolute robbery. It's very similar for me, Phil, to Ashton taking Webster for as little as he did, and then turning that into what he turned it into. Because it's going to be a big whenever Leif leave, whether it's this year, next year, 5 years, it's going to be a big fee. It's going to be.
I said 10 to 15 million. I think we'll get more. You've gone mute. When you look at,
have you? No, I've gone mute. Sorry, I've gone mute.
What did Webster go for? Did he go for 25?
Nearly, I want to say nearly 30, but yeah.
Yeah, I think Town sold him for 3, didn't they? Yes. When he went. So look, Leif Davis, whenever he does go, and he will go eventually. I think we're all love to see him play his whole career at Town, which I don't think he will. Personally, I think he will move on. And you think the last fullback, you've likened him to Cresswell. You think he can be a better player than Aaron Cresswell. Cresswell played for England. This lad, England don't have a great number of left-sided left backs,
Yeah.
So I think in the end, he's at a young age. He's going to improve. He'll definitely improve under McKenna. He has improved. I think he improves every single week I see him. He just gets better and better. And we all sat here, didn't we, after that debut against Bolton, and we thought, oh, bloody hell, he's giving away a penalty. But He's just consistent, Martin, on a weekly basis. You know what you're getting from Leif Davis, and he's not the only one. The team are so consistent now, and there's just so, like I said on Wednesday show, we're so far, especially at home. We come roaring out the blocks, absolutely flying. Martin's having a coughing fit.
I am. But I'm getting there. I'm doing all right, actually. I've done 20 minutes. Yesterday, I couldn't do 1 minute without coughing. So Matty Phillips stood in. Appreciate that, Matt. He's on family duty today. So he's not with us. But we've got being Frank on Ipswich Town with a comment here in regards to Velcro, George Hurst. Everything sticks to him. He works his socks off. Frank says, I love George Hurst. One of the most unselfish strikers in the game. And that in itself is a rarity. But I said on Wednesday's show, for those outside of Portman Road, Rich, he'll be judged on goals. He should have had one yesterday, really, shouldn't he? Daniel in the chat says the game would have been different had Hurst taken that chance around the 30th minute. Did all the hard work, and then sort of...
Well, that was not long after they'd equalised. He's played a lovely little 1-2 with, I think, Broadhead, sidestepped the defender, sat the goalie down.
He did.
And then I don't know if he's sort of scuffed it or mishit it, but he sort of passed it left-footed straight. The goalkeeper, isn't he?
We were all up, by the way, in the South Stand. We were all up cheering.
He's done everything right. He's done everything right apart from the finish there. But I know you say outside he'll be judged. As far as Town fans are concerned, I don't think he will be judged on his goal output.
Certainly not, no.
You know, because he offers, and you look what Liam Rossini said the other night. He was he's key to how we play, and I thought yesterday he was one of our best players again. But I said before, for his own sake, Martin, he will know that he should have scored that yesterday.
Yeah.
He will know. It's one of them ones probably when you're doing it in training. You just slot it away in the corner. But it wasn't costly because it wasn't long after Brandon scored the second one. And then obviously we've got that third one just before half time. So, but you do have to take your chances when they, especially if you're a striker, you know, so look, that was the one shot he had yesterday.
Yeah. One shot, 2 key passes. I mean, he works so hard for the team. And you're right. He's not going to be judged, you know, down Portman Road by Town fans in that manner. But he'll want to score goals himself, being a striker. They all want to score a goal. But what he did yesterday was phenomenal hard work. Again, everything stuck to him. And it's correctable. You know, Grant will get him on the training ground, work on that finishing. Because he's done the hard work. He's crafted the chance for himself. It's a correctable thing as a player. It's good to see him getting in those positions while he's a lone target man. And he is a lone target man for me. That's his job. Make it stick and bring in the class that is Broadhead, Chaplin and Burns or whoever plays behind him. And he does it so well.
He does a lot of the donkey work, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
By 70 minutes, he's absolutely knackered, but he's put in such a shift and he does it every week. I think if we sat here and said, if he gets 12 goals, I think it's a decent season for George Hurst. I think that'd be a good season, good return. But we goals are coming from everywhere. So we're not going to rely on just him. And I think, what did he get? Seven last season when he came in?
Yeah.
Matt Stannard there. Great little lay into Brody, wasn't it, for the goal?
That was beautiful, wasn't it?
Just nodded it down. That was a training ground goal, that was. Ping it to the back post. Burgess, bosh. Thank you very much. There you go, Nathan. Have an absolute side foot finish from a yard out. Brilliant. That's a good one there from Trevor. If Hurst was more deadly, he'd be worth 20 million. He is key. He is massively key to how we play. You know,
it's huge. You saw that in January when he came in. You saw that, and you know, I'm famous for getting things a lot of things wrong. And I said, does he move the needle? And he did. And he's really.
We don't have anyone. We don't have anyone like him.
No. At
the club, if he had a prolonged spell out, we probably would have to change a little bit how we play because he does a lot of work away from the goal, whereas Ladapo's probably more sort of inside that 18-yard box, Freddie. But look, they'll all have chances. Freddie played a part in the goal yesterday, so they can go and put their feet up for now, a couple of weeks. Go and have a rest. They'll probably play a game, I'd have thought, next week, probably early next week, probably just to get a few minutes. Walton will probably get a game. Axel, he's the interesting one. He could move the needle at the other end of the pitch, Gov, if he gets fit.
He really could. Our defending yesterday, particularly for the first goal, was atrocious. It
not great,
good,
was it?
It wasn't good. No. It wasn't good. I'm not quite sure what happened, really, because it came out of nowhere and then
it's just a long ball, and Burgess is sort of he's sort of done nothing. He's got in a sort of bit of a muddle, ricochet, that the guy stuck it away. But we have given some soft goals away. When you look at it, we've conceded 11 at home, haven't we? And oh, you're right. I'm not saying it at the minute, but Wolfie and Burgess have been excellent. They really have. But if you can improve your team, you know, I'm all for it. And Twanzebe will get his chance. I'll be expecting him to play in that Fulham game. Gov, I would have thought he'd make his debut. Yeah, because he should be up to speed by then. And if he comes in and he performs well, he's another one. He's played in the Premier League, but he's another one with not a great fitness record. But I can't see
they
it.
did get lucky as well, didn't they? Because it did fall to their player really kindly. You know, Halaki had gone left with
but we got to deal. You got to deal with the initial ball. Really, just clear your lines. And we did look a bit ropey, sort of balls sort of down the centre, didn't we? There was another one your end. I think it pinged about, and the guys lashed it wide, left-footed. Probably should have got it on target. Probably should have equalised. That would have made it 2-2. So, just little details that we need to sharpen up on, because I've said it before. It's not come true yet, but we can't keep conceding 2 goals in a home game. You can't keep doing that and expecting to. Look, at the minute, we are free scoring, but it will catch up with you sooner or later, somewhere along the line, if you keep shipping goals.
Yeah, you won't always. There'll be a game when you're not always free scoring. Yeah,
I'm not being negative. Well, saying that, we've been free scoring for a year.
That's very true. We have.
So it's nearly. I think we're nearly averaging 3 goals a game. Well, we are this season. We've scored 19 in 6 home games. But we play differently. I think at home it's like we're a lot more gung ho, whereas away a little bit more sort of pragmatic how we play.
But with the goals conceded, can you honestly say, thinking back, we've been cut open at all? Like even Leeds, I don't remember us being really carved open.
Not really.
For a goal, it's always been a concentration error or a positional error, something that you can correct in the training ground, which is good.
I think the one yesterday, the equaliser, was a little bit of laziness, because I think we were so in control of that game at 1-0, and then you think, oh bloody hell, you know, we've conceded a really soft goal, and you've given them a way back into the game. But we shake that off, don't we? And then we go and score 2 goals. But then second half, I said to the couple of guys at half time, don't make it be another Blackburn game where you concede early. What do? We go and concede early. But if I look at Preston, I look at Blackburn. For me, I know Preston are higher up in the league. Blackburn looked a better team that day going forward. They had more threats. Whereas I never sat there and thought that Preston were going to cut us open. And I never thought that they really were going to score. And look, I agree with what Craig says. We do let teams back into the game out of nothing. And that's just little. This is just little things that we need to sharpen up on. We've got 28 points from 11. We don't need to do a lot better, but it's just them little details that don't give a team an easy goal. Don't give them a way back into the game. You've got to be ruthless. And look, we're nitpicking a little bit when. Oh, Gov's on mute.
Apologies, I was coughing, but yeah, that's football. You can always get better, you can always improve, and that's what makes you a better team. And I think McKenna said something probably similar after the game, if I remember rightly, on the Radio Suffolk interview. You know, you can always look at the aspects to improve, and as long as you continuously look to improve, you're going to improve.
But we did look a bit tired that second half, I thought, and I thought I'm not going to mention, but a certain person did say that we've got nothing in midfield. Which I don't agree with.
Oh right,
no. I'm not mentioning names.
You've heard a few fans say.
If you want to watch on the post-game show, you will see. I didn't agree with his comments, but what I will say is, I thought Luongo looked a bit leggy second half. I would have took him off before Kieran made that change.
You know what I think?
Because I think 2 or 3 games they've looked sort of the wrong side of 30. Them 2 in midfield. They have little spells in games where they sort of get a little bit overrun, and then I think that you need them younger legs in there, and then they sort of get that second wind. And I thought he gave the ball away a couple of times cheaply, didn't he? Mass second half. As soon as he made that second error, I said to the guy behind, "I'll bring Taylor on," and there I looked and I see him taking his bib off. So sooner or later, Jack Taylor will get his games. Gov will be happy sooner or later.
I was delighted yesterday because he came on and sort of run the show for the time he was on. Really crisp, really good, really on it. Real integral part for the fourth. Just anytime I watch him play, I just love it. I think he's going to be a great player.
He had a great shot from range again. The goal he saved. If I'm being a little bit selfish, I wouldn't want Luongo going away with Australia. I'd want him sitting at home, putting his feet up. The flip side of that is there's not a lot of travelling because they're playing both games. They're playing England at Wembley and then they're playing a friendly at Brentford. So he's not going to have to travel backwards and forwards. And that's another conversation to have in January. If he gets called up for Australia for, I think it's the Asia Cup, we could lose him then. But then on the flip side, you might have Sam Morsey available because he didn't get called up by Egypt. Egypt must be blessed with centre midfielders, Martin. If he can't get a game, they must have some hell of a midfield players there. But
Paul P says game too far from Massimo yesterday. Surprised he started. To be honest, obviously his third start in 3. We all thought he couldn't do that, but he did it. Perhaps it wasn't his best performance. But I want to just—it's not a 3-word review, but it's actually a 7-word review, and it's from a Twitter user called Darren Huckabee. I'm not sure if anyone's ever heard of him.
Ipswich, is he saying they're playing about like Real Madrid?
Ipswich have actually turned into Real Madrid.
Well, he did say that, didn't he, earlier in the season, taking the piss. So,
but what do you think of that?
I'm loving it.
Well, like a broken clock, you are right twice. So he's hit the jackpot here because normally what he says isn't right. But Ipswich have actually turned into Real. I mean, you got to dig that, because he's not going to be tweeting that with a smile on his face. You feel?
No, he's like through gritted teeth.
Oh, gritted teeth. Yeah. It's great, though, because we are. No, we're better than Real Madrid, actually. There you go. I've said it.
Anyway, shout out Ben Gibson. Great finish yesterday. Pete was in the wrong net, Ben. Mind the gap. Mind the gap, Canaries.
Yeah, well, I've been here before with gaps.
This team are miles better than that team under Mick. We know that. Don't worry about that. Bring on December.
I wish it was I wish it was tomorrow.
I agree.
We tear them apart. You never know come December if you've got injuries, suspensions, form drop off. You can't see it right now, but that's football. It comes around very quickly. Life at you comes at you quick. And Connor Chaplin, I think this time last week was obviously being not questioned, but it was talk about his performance. And I thought yesterday again, like Tuesday, Connor was sensational. And I was right behind that goal, and it was a masterpiece. The swerve on it. Whoa.
If you watch that back, watch it from the camera that's in the upper Sir Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see that. And look at the role that Luke Wolfenden plays in that game, in that goal, Gov, without touching the ball. Because obviously that's rehearsed, isn't it, on the training ground?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But we do it so often, and no one picks it up.
Exactly. It's still these teams are not wide awake to it. But if you look at, as Connor makes the run, Wolfie blocks Matey, maybe a little bit of shirt pulling. But that's a goal. I don't know if people remember Teddy Sheringham when he was at Spurs. Scored a few like that from Darren Anderton on the right-hand side. So it's not new, but you would have thought nowadays, these teams with all their analysis, Gov, I mean, you should be a bit more wise to that.
You could be wise to it all you like. You've got to stop it.
Yeah, but you should. I agree with that. And he's literally, it's a great ball from Leif Davis. He's put it on an absolute sixpence. It's bounced once and then he's caught it on the volley. And I mean, Mick Mills said an interesting thing on Suffolk, and I agree with him. There was like a 2-second pause with the crowd.
Not me.
Well, you had a good view.
I was up before it was in.
It depended where you were in the stadium. There was a little bit of a pause, and you think, bloody hell. And this is what happens when confidence is running through your team. You try these things, and they come off. What I want to talk about yesterday is one of the worst free kicks I've seen at Portman Road, second half.
By Preston.
They had the ball about 15 yards outside the penalty area, and the number 4, he's tried to dink it and it's to the back post. Well, they've obviously not got the memo what he's going to do, and he just pops it straight out of play. And he's, I think his teammates have stitched him up there because it was absolutely woeful. It's an early contender for worst free kick of the season I've seen at Portman Road. Not quite up there with Gwion Edwards.
That's still travelling in orbit.
Yes.
So I hear. NJW says, joy to watch, and we are a joy to watch.
Yeah.
Another 3 points. Conceding too many, which we just covered, which I think is true. Yeah. And trust in McKenna. And McKenna, he's everything he touches at the moment, a bit like some of our players, turns to gold. Like yesterday, he's making changes, and every single one of those changes impacts the game in a positive way. And it's same as Tuesday. He made a few changes to the starting lineup. Like, when things are good, they're good. And right now, they can't do any wrong from manager down.
He's got the Midas touch, hasn't he, Kieran?
Oh, he has. But it's phenomenal how he read that game yesterday. Because for me, Preston were the better team in that second half, for large periods of that second half. You might not have been worried about conceding, but you're never quite sure in the championship.
Yeah.
It takes one moment, takes 1 second, and they're in. And I thought we were leggy. I thought we were looking a little bit not at our best. And he changes it, and it galvanizes us straight away. There's no drop off. I'm not used to it as a Ipswich Town fan. I'm going to be honest. I'm used to players coming on and you're thinking, perhaps that wasn't right. Oh, perhaps this wasn't right. You don't get that at the moment.
No, and it's important now in it. Football, it is a lot of it. It's not like the team that starts. The people that finish it and the subs are as important as the people who are starting, and they're all ready to go, aren't they, Gov? When they come on, hit the ground running. They're not on there, and as you think, bloody hell, they've been on 10 minutes. They've not done a lot. But you have to have that, and we probably needed that yesterday to get that fourth goal, because I wouldn't say we weren't hanging on by any stretch of the imagination, but Preston had a lot more of the ball, didn't they? Whereas first half they were pretty much chasing shadows, whereas second half they got a foothold in the game. They got the goal. That gives them something to cling on to, Yeah,
it really does.
When you think you're pretty comfortable there at 3-1 at half time, but it only takes goals change games, and when that went in, it's a little bit of like, shit, here we go again. It is, isn't it? And then you're looking at the clock. When you're winning and it's just a goal in it, that clock seems to go slower.
Yeah, I said to my mum yesterday, that clock ain't moving fast enough.
No, it's not. And then you're thinking, bloody hell, we've got to 70 minutes, and you're thinking, we need another goal here. We need another goal here, and it was a great goal, wasn't it? Bang, bang, bang. Caden finished it off, and then we could all just chill out because we knew that the job was done then, really, and that took the wind out of Preston's sails and their 826 supporters. That Gov wasn't very happy. He said third in the league, should be bringing more.
I thought at least 1,000, but 826 people. Well, fair play to you. It's and it got a cost of living crisis, as I always say. But
is there a cost of living crisis in Carlisle? Because Carlisle, shout out to Carlisle fans yesterday, 4,200 all the way to Bolton.
That is pretty phenomenal. When you said it, I couldn't quite believe it.
And they beat them 3-1 after being a goal down. Joey Garner, playing for Carlisle, missed the penalty as well.
Oh, no. Roy Clark said you're used to Aaron Drinning coming on, Gov, which is a fair point, actually, to be fair. Di Cornell was there yesterday, albeit on the bench, but he was back.
Yeah, I seen him pinging balls out in the warm-up, and I said to the guy behind, he must have a great agent. He's got another gig at a
championship club.
Shout out to Nick Hayes. He's gone on loan to Southend, emergency loan, played in the game yesterday, kept a clean sheet. Nice to see him at some minutes. They won 2-0.
That's good for him. One Trick Pony says we might have to review this at some point before we bring in Lee Addison on a different show. The Talking Town episode from week December 25th to 21st of McKenna's announcement after Barrow, who remembers Barrow, came up in my feed last night. A very interesting watch now. Comments were interesting to read. Might have to do like a Talking Town revisit.
Yeah.
That might be quite...
Well, I think if we go back to then, no one really knew a lot, did they, about Kieran McKenna?
Everyone said he needed an experienced hand next to him, didn't they? You
have to give massive credit to Mark Ashton and Game Changer, for having the foresight to... And it probably was a little bit of a calculated risk, Gov, He's come in, hit the ground running. I know he's had some money to spend, but it's now... I said about, obviously, Leif Davis going to the Premier League. Kieran, the clock's ticking on Kieran McKenna. It has to be. With every win, he's getting more coverage. We were on ITV yesterday. Shout out to Colin. He was on ITV. If you've not missed it, if you blink, you probably would miss Colin. Don't blink. Hang on, is he? He's gone. He went on long. But look, you're getting more eyes on you. Obviously, the next game we're live on Sky, so you're going to have more eyes on that. And we've just have to enjoy this. Have to enjoy it. I would have thought Mark Ashton's not stupid enough. They will probably have a list, Martin, of... I'm not saying Kieran's going anywhere, but they will have a list of potential replacements already. They will have to. They will know who's out.
They'll know who's available. Yeah, of course they will. Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going anywhere yet, but I think that clock is ticking quicker the more games that we win. But then look, if we get promoted and he goes to the Premier League with us, so it's a win-win situation. But look at the clubs.
That's on the cards though now. Like that really is on the cards now. You can use such a great platform to make the top 6. So get top 2 for a second. Like it'd be a car crash of form, almost.
We're not falling off the cliff like we did in 14-15. There is no way on earth that is happening. And I don't see at the minute. We probably will lose games, Martin. But I don't see us losing 3, 4, 5 games on the bounce. I don't think we'll do that. I honestly don't. If we lose, Ben Moore put an interesting comment there in the chat a little while ago about he liked to see how we react to when we get a defeat. And we will get a defeat. But I'm pretty sure that Kieran, the senior players, we will soon get back on that horse. Because we've hardly lost. How many games have we lost this year? 2 games?
2 games, yeah.
2 games this year so far. And I know a lot of it, people will say it was in a lower division. I'll take that on board. But then we've come to this division and we've lost 1 in 11. And you just have to, you think now, 11 games. So we're obviously nearly quarter of the way through the season, Martin.
But this is it. And Carl Fuller put a great tweet out last night. So after 11 games, we have 28 points. Burnley last season had 18. It took Burnley 16 games and to 22 October to go from 26 to 29. We have already won 31% of the amount of games that Burnley won last season. Long way to go.
Yeah, because we spoke about that last week, didn't we? How many points Burnley were on. But then you have to look, I think, at the back end of the season. Burnley won something like 18 out of 21. So that's why they finished where they did. But who knows where this can go? Who knows how far it can continue? I looked through the league table last night. I thought, Preston 3rd, not worried about them. Sunderland 4th, not worried about them. There's only one team that I'm worried about. I'm not worried, but I think that could put a run of games together is Leeds. Leeds is the only team, because I think with the players they've got, no chance. But we've stolen the march on a lot of these teams. You see, Middlesbrough had another good win, won 4-0 at Sunderland. They've won 4 on the trot under McCarrick now. McCarrick? Who's he?
McCarrick?
No, it's Carrick. Michael Carrick. But they've won 4 on the trot. But we've stolen the march on loads of these teams.
This is what I mean.
With the start we've had, and even if we have a 2 or 3 game spell where we might win, lose 1, we might draw a couple, we're still going to have a little bit of a buffer.
Which is the madness thing.
And then I look at the games coming up. You think you've got Rotherham away. That should be another game where we could go to Rotherham and we can get 3 points, Martin. It should be. There should be nothing that fears any Town fan in this league after the start we've made. And I know if you get injuries and you get suspensions, I don't see a massive drop off in form. I don't see it happening. No. And then we'll come to January, and that'll be interesting what happens in January. I think, and Mick Mill said last night, now will become the time, if we get to January and we're in a good position, it will be...
Oh, you watch the checkbook get dusted off.
To get a couple of players who are better than anything we've got. It's not about quantity now. In January, it'll be about quality that could give you that final, like it was in January this year. That made the difference, and that helped us. I know Sheffield Wednesday falling off the cliff obviously did play a little bit of a part.
3 points now. Shout out Wednesday. Want the 3 points now? Point yesterday.
Yeah, they've got as many points now as statements. So hopefully Chanceria will soon change that with another one. But
you have to, really. It's announced the new manager. So yeah, he will.
Well, if we all see the press conference from the last time when he announced a new manager and he made it all about himself,
didn't go well.
That could be quite interesting. But yeah, it's a case of just ticking the games off.
This is it, and no game is played on paper, and Huddersfield proved that. That's the only sort of blemish, I guess, on the last 3 games. You got a point there, which under the circumstances wasn't a bad point. But before the game, you'd been going in expecting, hoping for all 3, of course. So when you look at the fixture list, you go sort of very similar. Well, they shouldn't pose a problem, or they shouldn't pose a problem, or that should be a bit tricky, but we can come through it. And the running games have got that, but we are going to slip, we are going to trip. It's giving yourself that buffer, as you called it, to do that and then recover and not be doing a Middlesbrough, playing catch up, not be doing a Leeds, and who could put running games together, but playing catch up. Everyone's playing catch up with Ipswich Town FC, and that's mind boggling. considering. And I had us in the top 6, but I didn't see the start. I didn't see us running out the gate like a train downhill, which is what it is. It's out of control. It can't be stopped.
Well, let's hope it doesn't get stopped and it goes right the way to the Premier League. But
it's got a lot of feeling, and I'll bring Lee in a second. Sorry, Lee. It's got a lot of feeling towards, and you don't want to say it, but Norwich, back-to-back promotion. No, I'm not saying we were going to get promoted. In fact, no, I want to say, I think we probably will. I wanted us to in the pre-season. But you've got that momentum that they had when they did it. You've got everything going right. Everything is just magical. And sometimes in football, Big Mo is what makes all the difference. And we've got Big Mo on our sidelines.
Because we might have, there might be teams in this league like your Leicesters and your Southamptons who've probably got better individual players, Martin, across their team. But we've got a team. We are a team. We are a squad. We're all together. It's like Ashton said, I think when he came in, everyone pulling in the same direction. You got your players, your fans. Everyone cannot wait for Saturday at 3 p.m, 7:45 on a midweek to get, if you're at home or you're away, to watch Town at the minute. It's so exciting. It was great yesterday. You walk into the stadium. You've got so many young fans there. The next generation that we'd missed, when previous managers, because nobody wanted to go. Nobody wanted to go and watch Town. You've got so many kids now. You see them wearing the Town shirts, soaking this up. And if this takes us where we want to go, this elevates you as a football club. You have to think at the riches of the Premier League. I know we're getting carried away. We have to keep our feet on the ground. Well, we don't because we're supporters.
Well, we don't because we're fans. We can get well and truly carried away.
Whereas Kieran will keep them grounded. It'll be the next game. But as fans, you do have to think, just what if? And if you get to that golden egg at the end of that rainbow, this changes your football club massively overnight, Martin, with the riches that you've got coming in. You've only got to look at Luton. Luton are probably going to get relegated. You only have to look at the massive jump it is, because Burnley last season were absolutely fantastic in this division, really struggling. So you're
going to struggle, but you all told me this division was difficult.
Well, yeah. But who knows? Who knows? And I know you touched on, and Colin touched on it last night, this team, is it better than the 2001? Well, the 2001 did achieve a promotion and they did achieve European football. And they almost made the Champions League.
We're only 4 games away, right, from European football?
I think it might be 4 or 5. What, in the Carabao?
Yep,
possibly. But I think to say that this team's better than the 2000 team, I think at the minute that's a massive question mark for me.
But it does feel, and it might be the blue ticket glasses, it might be the drinking the Kool-Aid, as they say. It just feels like we're watching players and a management staff that in 20 years' time, 15 years' time, my son will say to me, "You saw Kieran McKenna's football. You saw Kieran McKenna. You saw Connor Chaplin." It just feels like there's something special that you're going to tell your children and your grandchildren and say, "Yes, I was there. Yeah. This was a moment I was a part of." It's our time. It's our generation's time.
It's our time.
It's our generation's time, though.
Yeah, but also the older fans who've seen it all before. They've seen it all. They've seen us win FA Cups. They've seen us win league titles. They've seen us win
I've
in
seen
Europe.
Us foul at every single thing. We could foul at. Like, this is a football club that was a circus.
But
most of my life.
But you get older people who they probably might have thought in their lifetime, because they're getting on in years, they'd never see Town in the Premier League again.
Very true. Yeah.
And it's making everyone believe. Everyone is believing at the minute that this team could do. Would it be the impossible? No, it wouldn't be the impossible, because nothing is impossible in football. But you've got that massive M behind you, like that massive Mo, like you say, Martin. And at the minute,
it's huge.
We are irresistible. We are a joy to watch, and it's the winter months will come. The winter months will come. The pitches might get a bit heavier,
Oh, it's 2023, Rich. Come on. It ain't 1976 or whatever.
Anyway, I did think of you in the first half yesterday when...
you know what I said.
I thought, no, there's a goal coming here. We've not given any goals away, players slipping over. Like, you get in that stadium.
They were sliding like it was dancing on ice.
There was water firing all over the place, wasn't there? Them sprinklers are going everywhere.
Someone cut the hose. Crying out loud.
We like to play. That's what we want. Nice slick surface. Ping it about.
Yeah, but I like my players on their feet, not like they're dancing on ice on ITV.
It's only happened once, and it's not led to a goal. So let's not get too carried away.
And I'll bring Lee in now. But what I want to sort of finish on is the eye of the tiger this group's got. Because when they win a goal down, you can when a team goes not a goal down, when a team equalises or a goal scored, you can sometimes sort of gauge the reaction of the group. Some players, it can rattle a team, it can disturb their flow, but this group just galvanises them. They all look at each other and they all go,
"All right,
let's go up that level." And they went through the gears in that first half like you wouldn't believe, like a Ferrari on a racetrack. It was beautiful.
It's a little bit of a knockback. But it's not going to derail us if we let a goal in, because we are good enough. We have the belief. I think the supporters now have the belief as well, Mike, to think, all right, then, yeah, we've let a goal in. Yeah, that was a bit sloppy, but there you go. Look, Frank.
Huge.
This is great for people like him as well, because they're believing. Everybody's believing. You've got that belief. It's wonderful.
It is wonderful. And I'll bring Lee in. Lee, it's wonderful. What do you think of?
He's sitting on a chair as well. This is amazing.
I'm in my room where I work.
Times must be good in the Anderson household. He's found a chair.
Look. Some nice bits up there as well. Look.
Well, hopefully you'll have something else to go there in May as well, Lee. Wouldn't that be great?
Oh, that's too far away. You can't. Let's not worry about that. Let's not worry about that.
Tattoo like a certain person on this podcast.
I'm going to get another one. I'm getting another one if we go up. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. God, you'll be tattooed from head to toe, mate, if you another one.
Just in Kieran McKenna's name.
Yeah. Crikey, you talk about McKenna. I haven't been on for a while, but just this last week has been, we're talking about goal of the week now, aren't we? I'm driving home from the game, listening to Mick Mills, and they talk about goal of the week. Yeah. I mean, not goal of the season, goal of the week.
Goal of the week.
I say next to the guy sitting next to me, I said, every week or every month or whatever, we're seeing a goal of the season. We're seeing goals that would be goal of the season in any other season gone by. And that just shows how we're playing. And just before I got onto yesterday's game, Tuesday night, that's the completest performance I've seen. I've ever probably in memory, and when we talk about comparing teams to the Burley side, and then I had a little bit of a chat with Colin yesterday when we were talking at half time, because he comes and grabs me now, he sits near me. And, they're different eras, aren't they? They're different eras, and it's really difficult, but really difficult. But you've got to look what teams achieved, not what they're doing in terms of the future and such like. And but I've not, in terms of technical football and the games, in modern football, that's as good as you'll see anywhere. But you can't compare it to what happened in the 70s and 80s, and you can't compare it too much with what happened in the 2000s, because the games were different then. Yeah. The games were different. But Tuesday, I can't see it. And then first half yesterday, it's just a continuation of what we saw on Tuesday. And then, as you mentioned here, the second half, we came out and we looked legging there. But I just think it's the intensity. We're 3-1. It's almost like you're coming out and thinking, let's not concede for 15 minutes. But what you have to remember is you have to keep doing what you were doing to get you where you were at 3-1 and not sit back. And I thought, we're a bit lethargic taking the throw-ins. We just took that extra second longer. And I think that just sometimes just lowers the tempo. And I accept you can't do it for 90 minutes. But we came on strong again. And I think every game we've played this season, pretty much, apart from maybe Sunderland, I can't think of any others, but we haven't finished the game stronger. And that goes back to what you said about the substitutions yesterday. And we make substitutions, or McKenna makes substitutions, but he doesn't change the shape. He plays exactly the same way, but just changes the personnel. And that helps. I mean, you go back to days where, we've played up one up front, and then it's, let's sling another striker on, let's put him up front. Well, that disrupts all the other patterns of play and everything. We don't do that. We keep the same system. We just refresh the players, and that's, and you play in different players in different positions. Hutchinson came on and took the chaplain role, and you're thinking, we're going to bring a striker on, and then the Dapper goes up front, and then you've got what's the name playing on the right hand side, Jackson playing on the right hand side. Well, Jackson's come on and he's played centre forward, and it's bringing those players on with the attributes that they've got, and that's the attention to detail. that makes the difference in these games. And it's just an absolute joy to bloody watch, isn't it? Unbelievable. It is unbelievable. And I stood in the crowd in the 80s. I've watched the greatest team that we've had. And, I used to turn up every week thinking, how many are we going to win by? You'd almost go a whole season without seeing the team lose. And it feels like that now. There's that momentum back about, well, who's actually going to beat us? And let's be honest, I thought we would be pushing top 6 and be in contention. All this chat of, oh, let's just finish mid-table, that would be progress. I don't think it ever was progress. And, we brought players to compete in the Championship in League One. And we're now bringing in players in the Championship that can help us take that next step and can perform in the Premier League. And you can see that progression each time we bring somebody in. But I reckon you mentioned the January transfer window. I reckon there's 2 or 3 players that we've probably been in for at some point over the last 12 months that we haven't got, a bit like George Hurst and stuff like that, where the deals haven't gone through, and I reckon they're chomping at the bit to get it. There must be some players that, because we're always looking to progress, they must be sitting there thinking, bloody hell, I can't wait to get here. I would think, so great stuff.
I think you hit the nail on the head there, and I said this so much in our WhatsApp on Saturday morning. It's so good to go to Portman Road now with expectation and excitement of just what your team's going to deliver, because you're so used to them delivering, against the apathy. I've kind of got to go. I've paid for my ticket, or we're playing so and so. Can we get a point? Can we win a game here? Like, we are the dominant team. It's now it's now the expectation that we lost for a long time as Town fans.
Yeah. See, under Mick, when we were winning, it was great, but the football was still quite dogged, wasn't it? Even when we were doing well, and it was almost.
But even then, it felt like even then it felt like he talked it down. Like, we have to.
Yeah.
He talked down those performances or the expectation before the game. So and that's what it felt like. Whereas now it's talked up. This is my team. This is our group. This is the level we are.
Yeah, let's be blunt about it. Winning helps, and that run that you've said since Bristol does help. But I remember after the Leeds game when we lost, and we're still chanting, "We've got Kieran McKenna," because you can see the football. Let's be entertained. Yes, of course we want to do well. Yes, of course we want to win. Yes, but with that style that we play, and particularly and the difference between the Championship and League One is that teams still can't play us when we play well. It's still hard to stop. The corner, Chapman's goal yesterday. You can see the disappointment on a couple of their players. They knew they knew that was there, but you can't. It's all right saying, "Oh, it's there, stop it." You can have something, but you say things happen in the box. There's the block. There's this. They knew that was on the cards, and when they scored that, they knew that they'd been done. But they were aware of it, but they just couldn't. They couldn't stop it at that time. But when we have the ball, when we're in possession, teams can't play against us when we're playing really well. The structure is they have to change their shape, or they have to change a way of playing to stop us doing what we do. But the difference between League One and the Championship is that other teams can do that to us more than what they can in League One. So we are going to concede more goals, especially at home. Well, I think we play slightly different away from home. I think we're not quite as gun-ho. I don't think the full-backs go forward quite as far. I don't think. It just seems to be a different game away. I mean, it might be that the opposition played differently. I mean, Huddersfield played direct football. Our style doesn't. That's where the conflicting in styles makes it a little bit trickier for us, I think, because we have to be a little bit more compact and can't get out. But teams are going to come and score goals against us at home because of the way we play, because we're open. And that we just have to accept that and enjoy it. Just enjoy the bloody game. I mean, Leeds was a great game to watch as well, even though we lost. It's still a great day. The atmosphere is brilliant. I quite like having up in the A stand next to you. That projects a different atmosphere, and it's lucky for me because I'm in the North Stand of Sir Bobby. But that seems to be a better atmosphere coming out now. It's just a shame we can't get the away fans a little bit closer to that, so you can have that. There's no sort of banter off like there was at Huddersfield, and you know, when you go to Lincoln, you've got the noisy fans up beside us, and you've got that interaction between two sets of fans.
You won't get much of that at the moment, Lee. Trust me, because looking over the away fans yesterday, you know, they were watching a class team pick apart their own. But
you can't hear them. Even when they're quite loud, you can't hear them because the noise now coming out of the Ipswich fans.
Yeah, and it's good because the North Stand now is more united in their own chanting, because you got the Blue Action group now moved. So it appeared to me yesterday that the lower North was more united in what they were chanting, instead of having, I don't know, when Town come marching in and Super and McKenna from different ends. It felt more together. Yeah,
well, absolutely. And just on Brandon Williams, I mean, Jesus. I mean, I said the other week he's a boy, isn't he? But oh my goodness, And the frightening thing is, McKenna, I don't know what interview it was on, but he was saying that, you know, we brought him to the club to help his development. And he was talking about his development more than what he's doing for the club.
Suffolk, I think.
Yeah, and then he said, and there's still more to come from him. He's not fully firing, you know. And you think, Jesus, but I mean, that tackle yesterday just summed it all up, didn't it? I mean, luckily he got his left leg out, because I thought, oh my God, but I'd see he played the ball. Then he gets up and does the crowd, but you've got Hutchinson standing there going with his hand on his head as if to go, just what went on. I don't know what that was, but that was quite comical. And he was then given, I see the bit, he was then given the bird back to or not given the bird, but he was given the chat back to the player, wasn't he? So you need that in your team. And it was great to see that goal. There's a thing going on Twitter with the Chirigo goal that he scored. You know, from his own half, he went running through. There's a combination of that, and there's similarities there where
very much so.
He's away fans don't like him, particularly them up the road. Never liked him, did they?
They won't like him.
Well, it's funny that, because there was a sign going around when they got relegated at Villa Park. Please stay, Brandon. They had on it.
Yeah, well, that one did. But I think I think the Boo Boys and that I think wanted him out, and I think that's what happened on Instagram. Wasn't there was some sort of bit, but you know that's going to be a great game for him when that comes around. But yeah, he's got to keep his feet on the ground, isn't he? But
I think he will. Lee, loving the merchandise, by the way. Loving the merch.
Oh yeah, I got that this morning. Yeah,
loving it. It's looking good on you, man. It's looking good. Yeah. But thanks for coming on as well. It's been a pleasure.
Okay. Yeah, great.
We've missed you. Look after yourself.
Cheers, Lee.
It's always good. It's always good hearing from Lee. Like, I've missed having Lee Anderson on the platform, and when I saw his face at the bottom, I was like,
I was going to say, I said to you in a WhatsApp group this morning, I had a little story about the referee yesterday.
Go for it before I bring in Frank, and then we've got Colin.
So it was the tackle on Caden Jackson over near the dugouts, right in front of us when he was fouled, right? And it's gone off the pitch. He's coming towards us, and it's a definite foul. Referee doesn't give it. And obviously, the referee wasn't great yesterday. I don't know what you thought of him. I thought he was really inconsistent. So he's given a throw in. And then I think they're making a substitution. We're all standing up, giving the ref absolute pelters. I was saying, it's a fucking free kick, referee. You know, it's not a throw in. He's heard me, smiled at me, motioned like this to say, here's the whistle. You come and take over. And I thought, I'll tell you what, I'll probably do a better job than you. And I won't let it. What is the word?
Lose control.
Lose control.
I won't be so surprised.
Referee this morning, they all love me. They said I was a really
That
good
is
referee.
Great about hospitality, by the way. You get a team sheet, and at the bottom, they've got the officials' names, so you can actually personalise the insults through the game as you're shouting them, you know?
I mean, he wasn't great, was he? He was not great, but
no.
It's not a surprise.
No. Well, yeah, I did say don't expect them to be better in the Championship.
Well, if you're watching the Birmingham West Brom game Friday night, you will see all about the referees, because he's given a penalty. I don't know if you've seen it, Gov. No one could work out why.
I saw it. I messaged Chris.
What did he give it? What was it for?
I feel sorry for us because they've got split decisions to make.
I know that.
Split seconds to make.
But they don't help themselves with decisions like that, because you watch it 10 times and you are absolutely baffled.
I'm going to bring Frank in the same, but you are. But you've just said something about 10 minutes ago was very true, or Lee did. You can't compare football teams over decades because the game has changed. Yeah. But our officiating has not changed with the football. It's faster. It's more direct. Like, there's more, whatever you want to say about football today compared to then, it's different. But our officials are still the same.
Cool.
But they're not being helped. Where's the help? And even when they get the help, it's wrong. So, as a referee, what can you do? We look at the video.
Get decisions right in the first place. That's what I would say.
Yeah,
because I'm watching. You're watching that Birmingham West Brom game, and West Brom are winning 1-0 in that game, right? And that changes the game. Have you heard the rumour today anyway about Birmingham? John Eustace might not be there. He might not be there that much. But it smacks of the last time when Gary Rowett was manager and they replaced him with Gianfranco Zola, and then they nosedive. So the rumour is Rooney will be heading to Birmingham with, I think Ashley Cole's going to go there with him. John Eustace has done a great job, but this smacks of, you've got your new owners, you've got Tom Brady in, they want a big name, Martin. That's what it says to me. Whereas you think Eustace
because of John Eustace, ex-Watford.
Well, there you go, doing a good job at Brum.
I remember him coming on at Portman Road to see out a game that Watford were winning him, or maybe in Derby, I think. Maybe it was Derby because he wasn't Derby, wasn't he?
Right, Derby.
Yeah, I thought he was a very good player in his day, and he's doing a great job. Frank, I'll bring you in. I've got a question for you, Frank.
Yeah,
People are raving. There you go. You see, Frank is on the jokes. Frank, you fit in well around here, mate. You really do. You bring it every time. And I want to ask you about Kieran McKenna because one of the biggest things that's a huge credit to him is just how he's managed the group. Not everyone's always involved. And as players, that can't be easy. But he seems to keep everyone involved, everyone engaged, and manage the situation where it's a real group effort. It's amazing.
It's remarkable because you're talking about 25 players who all want to play. There's not a single player who doesn't want to be in the team. It's not just about the goalkeepers, and yet he seems to. I'm just wondering how he does it, the psychology involved. I mean, in the old days of Bobby Robson, I don't know if you remember this, he employed, when they were bottom of the table, a sports psychologist. Now, I wonder if Ipswich have a sports psychologist behind the scenes helping.
They do.
They
do.
right.
His name is, I want to say Kevin.
Is he the yellow shoes man?
Yes.
Right.
I don't know if I've seen him recently, but they did. And his name was Kevin Mincher.
Yeah, we think.
Look at us, too, man. We're not too bad. It's not bad for us. Matt shows we do to remember that name.
But we know him by his yellow shoes, Frank, because he was there early on in the game changer reign, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I loved it when Ed Sheeran the sing along in the changing room after the game against Hull. I mean, that was fabulous, wasn't it? Because all the players seemed to they knew the words, they sang along.
They did know all the words, Frank. This is what I'm saying on Wednesday. There was a few there just like humming.
Poor song choice.
Well, maybe they couldn't sing, and they might have been just miming.
Blame Harry Clark because he's the one who put the song on.
It wasn't even his best song.
No, it wasn't. But I just loved the coming on.
Well, it was perfect. The song was perfect, and you could say the display against Hull was perfect. Frank.
Should have shown shivers. Because this team gives me shivers.
Yeah, it's extraordinary, and I didn't need a few beers to enjoy it either because Ipswich is so totally on top. Remember this guy, by the way? Whatever happened to Ben Morris? He got injured a lot.
Is he in Sweden?
Yeah, I think so. I think in the end. Well, Cruncher would probably know. Ben Morris.
Yeah, he went on loan and he got injured, didn't he? He came on, I think, in that Blackburn game. I think that was the Blackburn game under Hurst, the 2-2 draw, when he came on, and he was quite impressive. And then he had a couple of loans, didn't he? I think he went to Forest Green, didn't he, Frank? Didn't play a lot?
Yeah, he did.
Then he obviously done his thing. I had a guy, can I just say to Frank, I had a guy yesterday, I can't remember his name, watches the show. He's moving to Thailand next year. He wants to know when you're coming over for a game.
Right, well, we're going over in November to January, and there's the Tractor Boys Asian group, and I've already arranged to meet some. We've never been to Phuket. We're going to Phuket just to take in a game, the Coventry game, in a bar there. And there's a guy, an Ipswich supporter in Hua Hin, and he owns a bar there. And he said, any Ipswich supporters, come in with the regalia, and it's free drinks on the house. So bear that in mind if you're heading in that direction. Hua Hin, he's an Ipswich supporter, and we're meeting friends also, Simon Harbottle in Bangkok. So we're going to take in games with Ipswich supporters all over Thailand. And maybe even in Laos. It's all over Southeast Asia. It's fascinating. Do you remember this, by the way? Changing the subject. You remember this? I don't know if you can see the score.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, we talked about that many times on the platform. Many times. It's a great moment. By the way, Ben Morris, Detroit City in the USL Championship, according to Wikipedia. Right. And he's still only 24. which blew me away.
I really rated him very, very much indeed, and he was prolific for the reserves at the early stages in his career between 17 and 19, and I just felt so sorry for him. I think he had knee ligament problems and a reoccurring knee ligament trouble. So he just
had two, didn't he?
Yeah, and then in training he got another one. So he's desperately unlucky, and that's what happens to some footballers. They just don't get the breaks, or they get the breaks.
Sadly so. Yeah. Who's the most prolific reserve striker, do you think? Marlon Harewood or Ben Morris?
Yeah.
Don't worry, Frank. That's a little talking town, long-standing gag. Yeah. How did you see yesterday, Frank? What were your thoughts on the game yesterday?
Well, it was nowhere near as good as Hull on Tuesday, rather. But what could be, because that was an outstanding performance. I think anybody that's watched Town over the years, I can't think of another game where Ipswich were so completely on top, played such brilliant football for the full 90 minutes, because I can't think of one moment in that game when I thought, oh, this is getting a bit boring, or they're losing the way. They were on the top of the form from start to finish. That was a magnificent display, and it'll take some emulating. And the fact that Ipswich are now in the Championship ahead of Southampton by 11 points, ahead of Leeds by 9 points, ahead of the N-word by 9 points, it's an astonishing start to the season. I can't get enough. I'm addicted to it. You know that song, I think it was George Baker, Ipswich Till I Die. Well, I get the feeling that I'm getting a bit nearer every day, which I am, of course, but so too at Ipswich, getting nearer to the top flight of English football, which we're all looking forward to. It could happen this season. Would it be too soon? I'm not too sure. The momentum thing is key to this, but they would have to recruit big if they did get to the Premiership. Otherwise, they'll end up doing a Luton, I'm afraid. You
can never get promoted too soon for me. You're either good enough or you're not, and then you have to hope the transfer window when you get promoted is good enough to see you in the next division. But for me, as a fan, you would never say in an ideal world maybe we would wait another year or two, because one window where you lose a couple of key players, we get injuries, as we're talking about there. We're saying with Ben Morris and co. Everything looks different. Everything looks different. Like the year after McCarthy, where we lost some key players in that window in that summer, we all thought we'd go again.
Very true.
It was different.
But the thing about we were talking about owners, and when new owners come in, they tend to want to get rid of the current manager. Do you think in some way, because we were all shocked when Paul Cook was fired, he wasn't doing particularly well, but no one saw it coming.
No,
do you think
I wasn't.
You thought it was going to happen, did you, Mark?
I thought it was going to happen earlier than it did. But
okay. But we went to the games last season, or a couple of seasons ago, rather, when in 1 week we beat Doncaster 6-0 on a Tuesday night at Portman Road, and I think it was Sheffield Wednesday, Macaulay Bonne with that very clever. Well, he got the ball off the goalkeeper, put it through to Connor Chaplin, who equalised in the last minute. That was 22,000 at Portman Road, but. Whatever you say about Paul Cook, you've got to look at the players that he recruited, Guff, because, a lot of them are still in the team. Lee Evans was one of them, but he's injured now. But Connor Chaplin, another one. Ed Ladke, the goalkeeper, he was another one. Right across the team, George Edmondson, Wes Burns. It's still the nucleus of the Paul Cook era. And it says a lot about the players that he recruited. Even if he couldn't do a very good job at it, he at least saw a good player and recruited him. So in that way, we've got to give credit where credit is due. And even Paul Hurst, for all his short tenure at Portman Road, two of those players are still in the Ipswich Town squad. And Janoy Danasian is one of them. And, of course, Caden Jackson scored yesterday, coming on as a sub. Very loyal player. But he was recruited by Paul Hurst as well, remember? So
Yeah. I think I said at the time that he'd be laying the foundations and maybe not seeing the rest of the project through. And I think that is the way it's come. A says the difference now is they are properly coached. Finches said we had a purple patch promotions don't grow on trees. As Town fans enjoy the ride, make progress while you can, which is very true. I just want to talk to you, Frank, before I let you go and bring in Colin. George Hurst, we spoke about him earlier in the show, how integral he is to how Town play. I want to go to the other end of the pitch, because I think Ladke is just as integral as George Hurst into how this team plays. The sweeper keeper is at Portman Road.
I couldn't agree more. I'm glad you brought that topic up, because it's something that I rave about, and I've had differences of opinion with Cruncher a little bit, more so with Steve, who comes on from Lancastrian Steve. I think he gets a lot of stick, Ladke, because he's a risk taker. It's a high risk strategy, but the results that are outstandingly good if they come off, and most times they do. He's also two-footed. Now, if you look at some people are suggesting that Christian Walton is as good with his feet as Hladky. Is not, and his distribution's a lot slower than Hladky. And one of the reasons why we get the ball moving upfield so quickly is because of Hladky's speed of thought, speed of action.
And yeah, no, I agree. And it's really proving, Rich, that he is just as integral as George Hurst for me.
Yeah, I think you're probably correct there. I thought he had another decent game. He didn't have a chance with the 2 goals yesterday.
No.
Who knows what's going to happen moving forward? You know, because
I know exactly what's going to happen.
The moles told him.
Yeah, the moles told me. He will stay in the team until a drop of form. He makes a few big gaffes, or Ipswich start losing, and then there's every reason for McKenna to say, "Sorry, we've got to give it back to Christian Walton." That's what will happen, but you won't drop him until that occurs, because you look at it, 9 wins out of 11 and 5 clean sheets in that period with Hladky in goal. I mean, that's a phenomenal performance in itself, and to find Ipswich sitting proudly in the automatic promotion places speaks volumes for George Hurst, for Hladky. And George Hurst, he only averages 1 goal in 5, so you've got to say to yourself, McKenna must have known that when he bought him. It's what he does. Goals win games, we know that. But how many goals has George Hurst laid on for other people? He's such a big threat. He reminds me in some ways of Daryl Murphy without the goals, because he's deceptively strong and skillful in and around the area. A little bit like Paul Mariner, if people can remember that. A little bit. And I love him. I love my socks off George Hurst. I'm really pleased when he's in the team. Freddie Ladapo, he's a good impact player, but I wouldn't, in all honesty, select him ahead of George Hurst. I think would probably be all in agreement on that, would we?
Absolutely. Perfect.
Yep.
Frank, as always, it's a pleasure talking football with you. Look after yourselves. All the best. I love a good joke. People need to do that more. Just bring something like prop on.
Yeah, didn't expect that, did we?
No, I certainly didn't. No, I'm going to be honest. I certainly didn't. But Hladky, forgetting the Walton debate, he playing out with his feet, the sweeper keeper on the halfway line, the bravery. It's turned into a huge part of how we play. A huge part.
Yeah, look, it will be interesting moving forward, because will he come back in? Walton? I think he'll play against Fulham. He'll get that game, and you don't know what happens. Injury, there might be a red card somewhere along the line, Gov. Hladky might get sent off. You don't know. So we a couple of times, but we're lucky. We're blessed at the minute that we've got players in all positions that can come in and do the job. And let's not write off Christian Walton and say, "Oh, he's slow." There was goals last season where he was more than quick enough with his distribution. So. But it is a case of sometimes when players are not playing, people sort of forget how good they are. So, and players, look, we're lucky because Hladky's been outstanding, and he's probably surprised a lot of fans, me included, who said, personally at the time, I thought we might have to go in for another goalkeeper. I did say that, and he surprised me. He had a little bit of a sticky start against Sunderland, but other than that, look, he leads. I think there was a goal against Leeds, but other than that, he's been excellent. And it is confidence. He's another confidence player. Looks a different goalkeeper. It looks a different goalkeeper than the goalkeeper who first came into the club.
Under Paul Cook, you're right. You know what will get him? It'll be the yellow card suspensions, won't it? How many is he on now?
He's on 3.
Keep winning. Referees keep thinking you're time wasting.
Well, I think that's probably another thing that will disappear out the game. They start off hot, and it's sort of. Although I see one yesterday, I see Tony Mowbray bemoaning the. Sending off for the Sunderland guy. He's on a yellow, and he's said something to him out of turn, and second yellow, off you go. Change the game.
Yeah, but if you say, but you shouldn't be saying anything out of turn, should you?
No, I agree. So he's only got himself to blame. He's let his teammates down. He's put them right in a hole with 45 minutes to go at 0-0. So
you can't have the respect campaign, can you? And then
you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways.
No. Is that still a thing? The respect campaign, is that still a thing?
I think so, but a lot of these campaigns, they bring them out with a lot of fanfare, and then they disappear, don't they? A little bit. It's like injury time yesterday. There was 4 minutes. I think that's another thing. What was it? 13 minutes of that Sunderland game, and we all thought, blimey, if you got trains to catch, you're gonna have to get a later train. But it's that's another thing that's
dwindling out.
Yeah, for a few games they sort of hot on it, and then it sort of disappears, and then you're back to how you were before. But look, we haven't seen really no time wasting down at Portman Road this season, have we? So far, which is a good thing. Teams have come to play football, and we hope that continues. And I think it benefits us when a team wants to come and play football against us, and it benefits if you're going to watch. If you're going to watch as well, Gov, you're paying a lot of money. You want to see entertainment. You want to see the ball in play. You don't want to see players wasting time. And although saying that, we would. Mate, he was getting the bird the other night for Hull, and he's ended up that he's got a bloody fractured eye socket, which is
all the best to him.
Not great.
Ouch. No, it was, but I think a lot of the stadium couldn't really see what had gone on. I think I think
Lewis said it's the protocol of if you've got a concussion, and you're on the pitch, they don't move you. But the thing that I think the North Stand weren't happy was he'd gone off the pitch on his haunches and he's come back on, but. That's just one of them things. And hopefully he makes a full recovery because I think he'd come back from a concussion and he had a broken nose as well. So not having a great time.
No, all the best to him. But you talk about things you want to see as a football fan. Paul Merson and Mike Dean wasn't on my bingo card.
Not seen it yet. What?
Oh, wait till you see it. It is absolute gold.
Merson was losing his rag. Then I'll take it.
Merson didn't lose his rag. Merson, in my opinion, lost his rag. It was great TV. Love Merce, absolutely love Merce. But him versus Mike Dean wasn't one I had this weekend. It really wasn't something I had on my bingo card. It was good. It was special. Colin, talking of special, this team is special. Your ITV appearance, blink, you miss it, was still special. How are you feeling? What are your thoughts as we round up the show today, this afternoon, whenever it is?
No, nothing's changed really. I've been feeling really good, feeling brilliant. I've got to say, I think today's show has been absolutely brilliant, and I really mean that. I'll tell you, there's been so much sense spoken on this show today. Arguably one of the best shows I've had for ages. Brilliant, fantastic by everybody who's been on today.
Thank you.
I'd like to backtrack, Gov, to what you said a little, quite early in the show about you find it hard to believe what you're seeing. Now, I get that, but what I would say to you from a person who's been for a long, long time like Frank and a lot of other people, you want to start believing what you're seeing because it's real. And I'll tell you, this side is the real deal. In this league, at this particular time, they are the real deal. And I think, in fact, I know, because I went down the shop today to get my paper, and the person who owns the shop, he was at a do last night with a lot of people who come from Leicester.
Okay.
And they are actually really starting to get a little bit worried about us lot, because we're not going away the way we're playing, and we've got a lot of respect up there. Trust me, from what he said this morning, we've got a lot of respect from the fans of Leicester City. They're really taking on board what we're doing. And if you think about it, like last season when Sheffield Wednesday were going really well, Ipswich and Plymouth just weren't going, especially Plymouth, weren't going away. Just like a bad smell. And I cannot see, I swear to God, and that's not, I know Rich, I can hear Rich saying the old blue tinted glasses. And I do listen to the lad, although he says I don't. We are, I think, in that top six for the whole of this season. I'll be very surprised if we go out of the top six now. I'd be even surprised now if we don't get promoted. I think we're that good. And I totally agree with what Lee said earlier on. Some of the football that we've been playing over especially over the last few weeks, has been scintillating. It's been exhilarating stuff to watch. And quite honestly, Kieran, I said it from, if you remember, Gov, I'm not just trying to blow my own trumpet. I said it from week 1, 2, or 3. That governor is going to be the real deal, and he's proven me and a lot of other people right. And we are so pleased. I know Rich says quite often, and quite rightly, let's enjoy what we've got right now, because we don't know how long that's going to last, or how long such and such a person is going to be at the club or whatever. But at the moment, excuse me, I think the likes of Leaf, as long as we get promoted, which I'm sure we will do, will stay especially for the short term, shorter to the mid-term, and Kieran the same. And I think he's an honourable guy. We talk about Kieran McKenna. I think he's an honourable guy. He's an intelligent guy, and I really trust him. What I mean by trust him, not so much. Well, I do trust him in selections. But I trust him as a person, more importantly. And I think we all should. Don't keep worrying about reading ridiculous articles like Rangers are after him. Rangers will be after anybody, because Rangers are not very good. I'll tell you what, quite honestly, Gov, I think if we played Rangers at Portman Road on Tuesday, there would only be one winner. So why would Kieran McKenna want to go to Glasgow Rangers? I just don't get it. Just everybody, please.
He wouldn't.
No, please enjoy, like Richard and you and yourself, Gov and Matt, say, let's enjoy what we've got. Continually enjoy it, and enjoy Kieran and all the players and the owners and everybody, because this club is being transformed beyond all recognition. And it just I don't even know what other to say. I just feel so. I mean, like Frank said, I'm like Frank. I'm getting of an age. I'm going to admit to Rich. I've never said this to Rich before. I wondered sometimes about a year or two ago whether I'd ever watch top flight football again. I've been used to it for 50% of my life. 50% of my life. Goodness gracious, let's enjoy all of this. Let's enjoy Burnsy. And what was that all about yesterday? Why on earth didn't that bloody idiot from ex-Norwich get sent off? What on earth's that all about? That referee was shocking at times yesterday. I'm not talking about shocking, absolutely shocking. I don't know where we get some of these refs from. Quite honestly, I don't. Honestly, and also another point, Amari. I'll tell you what, he is. By the end of this season, we're going to be waxing lyrical over that lad. We really are. And I'll tell you something else, Gov. I said that I kind of brushed over this before. Amari needed to start listening, which he obviously is with Kieran, and get, taking stuff on board. And you can see it week on week with Amari, that little things like I said to Rich last night, Bobby used to always say, the best ball's the easy ball. Now, I maybe think to myself about 3 or 4 weeks ago, when he had on that left-hand side, he might have went to try and do it all on his own. No, think. Lay it across the 6-yard box. Best ball's the easy ball. Little tap in for Caden. Don't get me wrong, as Caden still had a bit to do, but Amari is obviously getting better by that Kieran McKenna coaching and Martin Pert and everybody every day. And I think by the end of the season, look, whether he's going to stay at Chelsea, I don't know, but he's just going to get better and better. And let's just hope, in my opinion, let's just hope and pray that we put a massive bid in and bring him to his what I think could finally be his home. I really think because he's loving it. He's saying it in the papers today. I really think this is like my home, and I'm loving. I'm getting the love and feeling of the squad and all stuff. And that lovely though, boys, just to hear all that.
Never fall in love with a lone player, Colin.
I have.
They only break your heart. That's the experience I've had.
I think he's the best loan. This is only my opinion. I think he's the best loan player we've had since Fraser.
Wow, was Tom Lawrence after or before Fraser?
Yeah, he was after.
Bertrand Salino on loan. I mean, he's a big figure amongst Town fans. I'd probably to sign him.
I meant in his position, Ryan Fraser. I thought was excellent on the left. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So you'd love to sign him. You'd love to sign Amari permanently.
Oh, I'd have signed him yesterday, straight after the game.
And you are, and I'll give you credit. You were somebody who was saying from not several, but a couple of weeks ago that this player will eventually become number one, be that out wide on the right, out wide on the left, but he will be a number one. So I'll give you full credit for that, Colin. You've seen the ability, and you've certainly said it, and he's come through, and he really is taking on board that McKenna magic, which Chelsea will be loving because they're going to get a better player back, but also it does our credibility in the loan market a lot of good, Colin, because obviously clubs look at that and say, okay, we can trust our players to be developed in the right way at Portman Road because that's what they do.
Would you two also agree that I'd like to see it. That we'd like to see a little bit. I'd like to see a little bit more of Scarlett, off the pinch. Wouldn't you agree, Rich?
I don't know where he plays at the minute. I honestly don't. He'll get his chance. He'll get his chance somewhere. And hopefully we'll do well. And then he probably needs a goal, Colin, but he's not really had much opportunity yet. So just trust the manager. He'll know when to dip him in and dip him out. And
he's exactly what we need.
He is.
Like I said yesterday, and I'll repeat it because I mean it. Do you know what? On Friday week, I would just I'd love to be. Well, obviously, I'll be at the New York Stadium, but I'd love to be at that New York Stadium and see George Hurst get to get 2 or 3 goals.
He might well do.
Say like a 3-1 win or something. I'd love to see that happen because his work rate is absolutely unbelievable, and that guy really deserves a goal. And I'll tell you what, he's so unselfish, and with the thing with Amari. Wes is playing really well. The whole team's playing well. The squad's playing well. Amari's going to find it difficult to find a start, and quite rightly so because everybody's playing so well. And like Frank said earlier on about the thing, I know a few people thought it was a bit cheesy, about the thing with Ed and that, but the camaraderie from everybody at this football club, There's a lovely lady who I see. I'm always there early, and I see her every game. She works in the players bit there, where the directors people go up, and she does a little bit of cleaning. She works behind the bar, and I speak to her every week. She's outside. She have a little fag, and I speak to her outside, and even her face is beaming. And I remember a couple of years ago, and that wasn't the case. Everybody is on board.
Absolutely.
With this. And to be fair, Mark deserves a hell of a big shout out for all this because he has brought things together, and he promised loads of things about, I'll do this, I'll do that, and to be fair to him. Forgetting the money part of things, the things within the club, he has brought a lot of things together, and it's been fantastic.
I agree.
For the whole club.
You're right. And the stadium yesterday, from a different angle from where I normally sit, just looks so good compared to where it was the last time we played Preston. It's night and day. It really is, and everything is Premier League standard. just the division we're playing in. But that could be something we work on this season and change. You never know. Colin, we appreciate you coming on, my man.
Just one last thing.
Of course, there wouldn't be one more. It wouldn't be a show. One more thing, would it? Come on.
That Mr. Jennings from the Pinken. Mind the gap.
I've been here before. So love you, Colin. All the best. And I think we're all Colin this afternoon. That passion, and a lot of people in the chat saying, "Great show. Love the passion. Love Colin." And that's been a great show. I've got a question to finish on from Zurak. Who would you sign if you could only sign one on a permanent? Brandon Williams or Omari Hutchinson?
Brandon Williams all day long.
Really?
Yep. He's a Premier League footballer, Gov.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I agree with you. I'm just sort of trying to bring a different balanced. Really. But yeah, I probably would sign Brandon as well. But Amari's just gone from strength to strength to strength to strength to strength. Unbelievable, the progress in what we've seen of him from.
Will he be a regular?
Where, here or Chelsea? Just clarify.
Well, could be both.
He could be, actually, to be fair. Yeah, he's one of the few loan players from a Premier League team where I've sort of watched him and thought, as the weeks go by, that I could see him playing in the Premier League. Like some players on loan, and you think, I don't think he's got really any chance of playing for his parent club. But I think Amari probably has.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I like him. Certainly from game 1 to game 11, there's been just, lightning speed progress.
Yeah, true.
Like
the whole team. Like the whole team.
Yeah, but him particularly, like yesterday, like the goal yesterday, I think 3 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, would he have taken? Yeah, I think he would have done. I think he really would have done. And that's not a knock because he might have scored. But yesterday it was all one thing in his mind: sell the shot, play the killer pass, and beautiful. We're just so good.
Best ball is the easy ball.
Certainly is. And the best show is Talking Town. Boom. There you go. We've combined that really well. And we're done for today. We are done for the week because it's International Week. So we are back next Sunday. Where we'll do the roundup of what the month has been. Best player, best game. Probably more sentences like, I can't quite believe what I'm watching. And then we're back into it the following week. So have a great week. Enjoy the time, the R&R, the rest and relaxation of what has been the last couple of months. Because it does feel like we've played the games with them, to be fair. Like it's been.
We all need a break.
We certainly do. But this man here is the Cruncher, loses control of games he referees on a regular basis. You can hire him.
Chance.
I am the Gov. This is Talking Town. Hit the like, subscribe. We are nearly at 5,000. So keep subscribing if you haven't done so. But thanks for watching. And Town sits second, 8 points clear of third as we go into the second international break. Just wow.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I get down or when I am blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. I woke up all soaked in sweat, with chills running down my neck. I thought went crazy from just the thought of you. A long